Enjoyed watching your team. Tell us a little bit about how you got involved in coaching in the first place.
At a young age, I was always working with the youth, and once I got out of college, it just became a natural thing for me to be able to do was get back into working with kids in the community. I did it through AAU basketball, coaching with the Silver Spring Blue Devils that eventually became the DC Blue Devils. That Kevin Durant, Ty Lawson, and Roy Hibbert all went through that organization and program. And then I found myself on a high school bench my first year out of college.
No kidding. Okay, now to college. So where did you go, and did you play any sports?
I went to Southern Connecticut State University. My first couple years of college, I played soccer and hoops. My last couple years there, I started working with getting involved with coaching. I ran an internship through the communications program I was at, working with their summer camps and bringing in guest speakers like Vin Baker and Chris Smith, who played at UConn back then, up to speak at camp, and it just became something that I really fell in love with, was working with young kids and trying to help kids get better.
Coach, one of the things I enjoyed watching you from over here was your energy and your passion. How does that translate? How do you feel that translates?
I think I'm a caring person. I care about my players. I care about the guys who are a part of my organization. And, tonight I felt like there were times where we were kind of playing a little bit of 5 versus 8, so to speak.
Okay.
So I felt like I had to try to give that energy, try to give that passion to keep our guys playing hard and playing tough, and get them to understand that every single night we're not going to be a team that gets the calls, and how are we going to be able to handle adversity. I think we had a tough time with that a little bit tonight. We started off really well, and when the game got tight in the second half, especially in that third quarter, well, we're trying just to learn how to grow and how to win. We've got some very good players, got some talented players, but I think they're still in the maturation process of learning how to be successful and win, and how to find a way to win through adversity. And tonight it didn't go our way, but I think it'll be a game that we'll be able to take back when we go home after this weekend and head back into our league play in the WCAC to be able to grow on.
Talk about your sophomore, Chris Leaks, at 5'7". He plays beyond that height.
Last year we suffered with a lot of injuries. We played 29 games last year. Our first 27 games, we were minus on most nights 2 or 3 of our top 8 players. He had to, as a freshman last year, really pick up the slack for us, and we asked him to do a lot. He's going through a maturation process himself, because last year we asked him to score and run the show and be a tough defender. And now with the pieces we have, he doesn't have to do all those things every single night. And I think he's growing as a sophomore, and he's kind of hitting a little bit of a wall, trying to figure out, when to go for his and when to be able to set other guys. I think he's a kid that right now he's got a lot of high major interests and mid major interests. And I think the difference for him to be able to go to that next level is being able to understand when to facilitate and when to be that scorer. I mean, he's a guy that we expect a lot from, and we're proud of him. As a sophomore, he's one of our captains. He's a leader. He gets it done in the classroom. So he's a guy that we're gonna lean on a lot. But right now, we're going through some bumps in the road, but I think it's only going to help us get better as the season goes along.
Another weapon that you have is Sam Miller at 6'8". He's a tall presence and has a quick footwork for a big man.
He does. He's going to be a face-up 4. He's heading to Dayton next year. I think a lot of guys are realizing now that they missed the boat on him. But Coach Miller really, really liked him this summer and stayed with him the whole way, and Sam fell in love with him as well, and it became a great marriage. Sam played sick tonight. He wasn't at 100%, and I was pretty proud of him because of what he was still able to give us. I think he almost had a double-double tonight. We would have loved to have been able to have him on the floor a lot more. Most nights he plays the bulk of the minutes, but tonight he couldn't really go the whole time. It's the first time he's ever asked me to take him out of a game. He was battling a little bit with a stomach bug and a lightheadedness, so we wanted to make sure for his safety that he was healthy and let him go as much as he could for us. But he's a guy that we're going to lean on as a senior. He's averaging a double-double for us. He's a guy that's going to be able to be one of those guys that help us have an opportunity to win the WCAC this year.
Final question. Kevin Durant played at the first slam dunk to the beach. Is he one of the best players you've ever seen?
He has become one of the best players I've ever seen. When Kevin was younger, Kevin was a point guard, 6'3", that a lot of people weren't even recruiting and going after. And in high school, he had a major growth spurt his freshman year. He's a guy who stayed in the gym. I think a lot of kids in our city idolize him because of his hard work ethic. and the things that he does on the floor and the way that he is about helping others is tremendous. And as a guy who's a D.C. guy, I'm very proud of how he represents our city.
Okay.